Hi dear students, today we are going to discuss after digestion what happened to glucose. What happened to glucose, how glucose is absorbing into human body. Okay, one more video I will send you. You have learned that glucose molecule formed as a result of digestion get absorbed into the blood. These molecules must reach cell to produce energy. You know, glucose is very essential for the production of the energy. Okay, so this glucose molecule must reach the cell to produce energy. How it's controlled? How the glucose level balance in human body? The gland called pancreas, which play a major role in the activity that glucose level balancing. Which gland regulating glucose level? Pancreas. The pancreas consists of a important part that is called islets of Langerhans. What you can say? Islets of Langerhans. The part called islets of Langerhans, which consist of mainly an important cells which is producing two cells clusters of the cells called alpha cells and beta cells. Pancreas. Last year we discussed is the which producing a secretion called bile. Last year we discussed just near the pancreas producing pancreatic juice. Just above you can see liver producing bile. Okay, the pancreas producing pancreatic juice. But here in this chapter we are considering the pancreas as a ductless gland. It's as a gland. Okay. Last year we discussed as an organ which producing pancreatic juice that containing pancreatic amylase, pancreatic lipase. All last year we discussed. But today, now in this year we are discussing pancreas considering as a gland which consists of an important area called islets of Langerhans which producing mainly two cells, alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cell producing hormone called glucagon and beta cells producing hormone called insulin. Pancreas is a gland that is connected to the duodenum. Duodenum is a part of small intestine, is a part of intestine. The initial portion of the intestine, just below the stomach, duodenum is rising, starting. So, pancreas is a gland that is connected is to the duodenum, the continuation of the stomach. The beta cell in this cell cluster of the gland called islets of Langerhans producing the hormones insulin and alpha cells producing hormone called glucagon. Two type of the cells are there, alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells producing hormone called glucagon and beta cells producing hormone called insulin. Okay, so how these hormones regulating the glucose level? When glucose level increases, normal level of glucose is 70 to 110 milligram per 100 ml. Normal level of glucose 70 to 110. Never forget, normal level of glucose is 70 to 110 milligram. When glucose level increases, insulin increases cellular uptake of the glucose molecule. When glucose level increases above 110 milligram, the insulin, one of the hormone produced by beta cells, increase the cellular uptake of the glucose molecule. Okay, it's another Malayalam version also I will include it to you, not here, in another video. Personally I will send you. Okay, that video you want to must. Okay, you want to listen very well. If you not get that video, you want to inform me. Okay, one more video I will send you. Okay, for better understanding. Okay, cellular uptake of the glucose molecule, insulin converting glucose, okay, into the glucose molecule, cellular uptake of the glucose molecule, giving glucose into all cells, so the blood glucose level will be decreased. and convert glucose into glycogen. That glucose will converting into glycogen. Structure of glucose is changing into glycogen and storing in liver and muscles. Glucose. So glucose level decreases. These two ways very important. Okay, and when glucose level decreases very well. So 2 points we discussed. How insulin regulating the glucose level. Cellular uptake of the glucose molecule enhance the cellular uptake of the glucose molecule. Glucose is given into each cells. Okay, which cells needed glucose? Okay, the cellular insulin providing glucose to each and every cells. That cells needed glucose. Okay, and second process, convert blood glucose into glycogen. Glycogen is another form of glucose. So when it convert glucose into glycogen, the glucose level will be decreased in blood. Okay, and storing in livers and muscles. That glucose will storing in livers and muscles. And glucagon, when glucose level decreases very well, the less than 70 to 110 is normal. Less than 70, the glucagon convert glycogen stored in the liver into glucose. That glycogen already converted, that insulin done that. Glucose is converted into glycogen, but glucagon converting glycogen into glucose. Glycogen is converted into glucose. So glucose level increasing. Okay, and synthesizing glucose, making glucose from amino acids. Okay, by these two processes, glucose level is balanced. Okay, so you want to study these points, how glucose level normal 70 to 110, when glucose level increases, insulin 2 process, and glucose level decreases, glucagon performing mainly 2 process. Okay, dear students, now we are discussing about diabetic mellitus. It is one of the condition. This condition is due to the high production of glucose. Okay, what is diabetic mellitus? That means prameham. Decrease the production of insulin due to the destruction of beta cells or inability of the cells utilize insulin produced. Cell cannot utilize insulin. Okay, so the rise of glucose level increases. In another way, glucose level increasing due to the deficiency or malfunctioning of insulin. One more video I will add, you can listen that video also. Due to the deficiency of insulin, the glucose level increases because insulin converting glucose into glycogen, insulin performing or insulin decreasing the glucose level. But here the glucose level is increasing due to the low production or malfunctioning of insulin. Insulin is not working or low destruction of beta cell. Actually beta cells producing insulin. Okay. So glucose level increases. That condition, a person's blood glucose level above 126 or above 126 milligram per 100 ml. Normal level of glucose, 70 to 110. But a person with a diabetic mellitus, his glucose level above 126 milligram per 100 ml before the breakfast. Before the breakfast. Okay, a person glucose level is testing before the breakfast, not after. When we are testing the glucose level before the breakfast, his glucose level is above 126 milligram. We can say that person is diabetic. After, sure, our glucose level will be increased. Before we want to test, then the glucose level above 126 milligram, that person with diabetic mellitus. Okay. So what are the symptoms seen in diabetic mellitus? Appetite, vishappu, thirst and frequent urination are the major symptom. Appetite, vishappu, thirst, frequent urination are the major symptom of the diabetic mellitus in prameham. Okay. So what is the reason for the diabetic mellitus? When we can say person with diabetic mellitus, what are the symptoms of the diabetic mellitus? Okay, this idea is very important. You can expect a graph from here. We can discuss in detail next time. Okay, when you have any doubts, you can ask me. One more video I am uploading here, not here. Personally, you will get. Okay, let me concluding here my class here. Thank you.